I want to share a narrative with you today, a specific kind of narrative. It's not a random tale or a simple anecdote. It's a story about the nature of achievement. It's a story about success. This is a subject that occupies the mind of nearly every person. We all desire it. We discuss it constantly in our homes, our schools, and our workplaces. We see its shimmering image in the media, yet I have come to understand that very few individuals truly grasp its fundamental mechanics. There exists a profound misunderstanding about what is genuinely required to reach it. Some people are convinced that the primary key is intellect. They believe that a high IQ, a photographic memory, or a natural aptitude for complex problems is the golden ticket. Others attribute it almost entirely to fortune. Being in the right place at the right time, knowing the right person, or simply being the beneficiary of a random benevolent universe. And then there is the common assumption, the one many of us are raised with, that success is purely a product of working hard, of putting in the long hours and the sweat equity. But today, I want to propose a different perspective. I want to distill it down to one powerful foundational principle. That principle is a simple, yet profoundly challenging three-word creed: never give up. I am fully aware that this might sound deceptively simple. You have likely encountered this phrase before, perhaps on a motivational poster or in a passing piece of advice from a teacher. It can seem like a cliché, an oversimplification of a very complex journey. But I urge you to listen closely, because I want to articulate precisely why this principle is not just a piece of advice, but the very bedrock upon which all monumental achievement is built. To truly illustrate this, I need to take you on a journey, not a theoretical one, but a journey drawn from the raw material of my own life, from the lessons etched into my experience through failure, rejection, and perseverance. I want to prove to you, with the evidence of my own story, that an unwavering commitment to continue, to persist against all odds, is the single most reliable predictor of eventual success. Let me paint a picture of my beginnings. I was a young boy growing up in HJO, a place far from the centers of power and influence. I possessed no obvious advantages. The landscape of my future was not one of preordained triumph. In the classroom, I was not a top student. The world of academia did not open its arms to me readily. In fact, I faced the sting of failure in my exams, not on a single unfortunate occasion, but repeatedly. It was a pattern of setback. My aspirations stretched beyond my immediate surroundings, leading me to apply to numerous universities. One after another, their responses came, and one after another, they were rejections. The message was clear and consistent. I was not deemed good enough. Undeterred, or perhaps already learning to operate in the face of deterrence, I turned to the job market. Surely, I thought, there was a place for my energy and willingness. The reality was another brutal teacher. I was turned down by more than 30 companies. I faced a closed door more than 30 times. One of these rejections stands out in my memory with particular clarity. It was an application to KFC. There was a pool of 24 applicants for a position. In the end, 23 were accepted. I was the only one who was rejected. Please take a moment to truly imagine how that feels. Picture yourself in that moment, having mustered the hope, having prepared yourself only to be the single person singled out for exclusion. It is a feeling that can carve doubt directly into your soul. For most people, this is the breaking point. This is the moment where the internal narrative shifts from I can to I can't. This is where the majority would decide that perhaps they are not cut out for success, that the universe is sending them a message they should heed. But I made a conscious, deliberate choice. I refused. I refused to accept that these failures, these rejections, represented the final verdict on my potential. I rejected the notion that a closed door was anything more than a temporary obstacle, not a permanent wall. This, right here, is the first critical lesson I want you to absorb and internalize. The beginning of any worthwhile endeavor is almost always hard. It is designed to be hard. Success is not a commodity that is given, it is a reward that is earned. And the currency with which you earn it is perseverance. You must be willing to keep going, to take one more step, even when every voice around you, and sometimes the voice within you, is screaming no. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, the man who gifted the world with the practical electric light bulb. His journey was not one of a single brilliant flash of insight, but a grueling marathon of failure. He failed, by his own count, thousands of times before he found the one successful combination of materials and design. If he had given up after the first 100 failures, or the first 500, what would have happened? Our world would be a much darker place. Every great inventor, every transformative entrepreneur, every visionary artist, every revered leader, if you study their histories, you will find a common thread woven through the fabric of their early days: immense difficulty. What ultimately separates them from the crowd is not a lack of failure, but an abundance of persistence. Let us be completely honest with each other. If success were an easy, straightforward path, everyone would be standing at its summit. You would simply wake up in the morning, brush your teeth, and suddenly, boom, you'd find yourself a billionaire, a celebrated artist, a world-renowned leader. But life, in its infinite wisdom, does not operate on those terms. The truth is far more demanding and ultimately far more rewarding. If you truly desire something, you must be prepared to fight for it. It's a fight akin to the playful, yet determined struggle for the last slice of pizza at a family dinner. Except this fight isn't over in a few minutes. This fight can last for years, even decades. It demands relentless endurance. When the idea for Alibaba first took root in my mind and I began to share it, the most common reaction I received was laughter. People would look at me and say, "Jack, you know nothing about technology." And they were absolutely correct. I had never written a single line of code. I was not a computer scientist or a software engineer. Then they would say, "Jack, you have no deep understanding of complex business models." And in a traditional sense, they were right about that too. My background was that of an English teacher, but I possessed something that was, at the time, invisible to them. I had a vision. I saw a future that no one else seemed to be able to see. I looked at the internet and I saw its transformative potential specifically for China. I believed, with every fiber of my being, that small and medium-sized businesses, the backbone of our economy, could harness this new technology to reach markets they never dreamed possible. I knew, with a deep, intuitive certainty, that if I could build a platform that empowered millions of these businesses to succeed, then Alibaba, by extension, would become a monumental success. However, believing was only the very first step. It was the spark. But a spark must be nurtured into a flame, and that flame must be shielded from the wind until it can become a self-sustaining fire. I had to prove that my vision was more than just a fantasy. This is the precise point, the critical juncture, where the majority of people falter and ultimately fail. They give up just before they have the chance to prove themselves. They abandon the fight in the first few rounds. If you take only one thing from my words today, let it be this: the world at large will not believe in you until you prove yourself to it. People will doubt you. They will criticize your ideas. They will question your judgment and your capabilities. Your primary job in those early vulnerable stages is not to convince them with eloquent words or passionate arguments. Your job is to silence them with irrefutable results. Your focus must be on the doing, on the building, on the execution. Think of a contemporary example like Elon Musk. When he first began speaking about the viability of electric cars with Tesla and the commercialization of space travel with SpaceX, he was met with widespread ridicule. So-called experts and industry veterans publicly declared that both ventures were doomed to fail, labeling them as pipe dreams. But today, those companies stand as pioneering giants in their respective fields. Why? Because he never gave up. He channeled the doubt and the criticism into fuel, and he focused relentlessly on the one thing that matters: proving his vision correct through tangible, world-changing results. Success, in many ways, is like cooking a complex and magnificent meal. At first, when people look at your ingredients and your methods, they will express doubt. They might say, "Are you sure you should add that much spice? That doesn't look like the way it's supposed to be done. I've never seen a recipe like that." They will question every step. But when the meal is finally prepared and they taste it, when the flavors explode on their palate, all their previous doubts vanish instantly. The proof is in the eating. The only way to definitively quiet your critics is to serve them a platter of your success. so undeniable and so delicious that they have no choice but to acknowledge it. A common misconception that plagues our society is the idea of the overnight success. People see a company that suddenly becomes a global phenomenon or an individual who rockets to fame, and they assume it was a matter of luck, a sudden explosive event. They think, wow, they are so fortunate, or they must have had all the right connections from the start. Let me be unequivocal in telling you that this is a myth. Success is never an event, it is a journey. And this journey is invariably long, difficult, and littered with obstacles that will test your resolve at every turn. In the earliest days of Alibaba, our reality was a stark contrast to the global company it is today. We had no money. Our search for investors was a series of closed doors and polite but firm rejections. Our headquarters was a small, cramped apartment, and for years, we operated in a state of constant struggle. There were days when we genuinely did not know if we would be able to continue, if the money would run out, if the vision would simply fade away. This pressure tests not just the idea, but the people behind it. Some of my friends, people I had started the journey with, decided to leave. Some of my initial partners lost faith in the dream. It was a painful and isolating experience. But those who stayed, those who dug in their heels and made the conscious decision to never give up, no matter how bleak the outlook, became the foundational core of what Alibaba is today. This brings me to the third vital lesson. You must be willing to walk the entire path, no matter how long it takes. You must embrace the journey itself, with all its hardships, as an integral part of the success. Consider the world of sports, where this principle is on constant display. Think of Michael Jordan, widely regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time. His legend was not born from innate, unchallenged talent. As a young man, he was cut from his high school varsity basketball team. That moment of rejection could have been the end of his story. But was it? No. He used that rejection as motivation. He practiced with a ferocious intensity. He honed his skills with obsessive dedication, and he transformed a moment of failure into the launching pad for a legendary career. His story is a testament to the power of not giving up. One of the most pervasive and potent reasons people abandon their dreams is the experience of rejection. They apply for their dream job and receive a generic rejection email. They start a business, pour their heart and soul into it, and for the first few months, no one buys their product. They try to learn a new skill and fail repeatedly in the early stages. This is where I need to tell you something of paramount importance. Rejection is not the end. Rejection is an integral, unavoidable, and even valuable part of the process. Every single rejection carries within it a lesson. It teaches you something about your approach, about your product, about the market, or about yourself. Every failure, if you have the courage to analyze it objectively, makes you stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Do not be afraid of rejection. Instead, expect it. Welcome it as a teacher. Learn from it, absorb its lessons, and then use that newfound knowledge to fuel the next leg of your journey forward. Take the example of J.K. Rowling, the author who created the magical world of Harry Potter. Before her manuscript became a global publishing sensation, it was rejected by multiple publishing houses. One after another, they sent it back. Imagine the emotional toll that takes. Now, imagine if she had given up after the first rejection, or the fifth, or the 10th. The world would have been deprived of that entire universe of magic and wonder. Her persistence in the face of repeated rejection literally changed the landscape of modern literature and entertainment. Think of rejection like a Wi-Fi signal in a busy public place. Sometimes the signal is strong and clear, and everything works perfectly. Other times it's weak, frustrating, and keeps dropping out. It's an inconsistent and often annoying part of the experience. But what do? You don't stop using the internet altogether. Just because the signal is weak for a moment, you move to a different spot. You refresh the connection. You find a way to make it work. So why then would you stop chasing your ultimate success just because someone or some company said no to you once or twice or 30 times? You must learn to refresh your resolve and find a new way to connect to your goal. At the very beginning of this speech, I told you that I believe success can be guided by one simple, powerful rule: never give up. By now, I hope you are beginning to understand the profound depth behind that simple phrase. I hope you see that every challenge you face, every failure, every rejection, every moment of doubt, every piece of criticism is not a stop sign. It is a test. It is a test designed by life itself to see if you possess the strength of character to continue. It is a test to see how badly you truly want it. It is a test to see if you will keep moving forward when everyone else has decided to stop and turn back. I want you to make a promise to yourself today, right now, a silent, solemn vow. Promise yourself that no matter what happens, no matter how difficult the road becomes, no matter how many times you stumble, you will not give up. You will commit to pushing forward, to learning from every setback, to growing stronger with every challenge. Because if you can do that, if you can make that commitment and hold fast to it, then success is not just a possibility, it becomes an inevitability. It is guaranteed. We are living in an era of unprecedented change. The world is transforming at a breathtaking speed. Technology is evolving at an exponential rate, disrupting old industries and creating new ones almost overnight. Every day brings a new innovation that renders old ways of doing things obsolete. In this environment, change is the only true constant. Those who fail to adapt, who cling to the safety of the past, will inevitably be left behind. But amid all this swirling, chaotic, rapid change, one fundamental truth remains, steady and unchanging like a rock in a raging river. That truth is this: only those individuals who possess an unshakable belief in themselves, who are willing to work with relentless diligence, and who have the courage to never, ever give up, will ultimately succeed. I believe in you. I believe in the potential that resides within each and every one of you. But my belief is not what will carry you to your destination. It is merely a reflection of what must ignite within you. You must believe in yourself. This is the most critical form of belief, and it is a power that no one else can grant you. You must cultivate it, nurture it, and protect it from the storms of doubt and fear. The future you desire is not something that will be given to you as a gift. It is something you must build with your own hands, day by day, brick by brick. Success will not one day knock politely on your door and announce, "Here I am, I've arrived." You must become the hunter. You must chase it down. You must fight for it in the trenches of daily effort. You must earn it through your persistence and your grit. Some people spend their lives waiting for the perfect conditions to begin their journey. They tell themselves, "I'll start my business when the economy is better," or "I'll pursue my passion when I have more savings," or "I'll apply for that job when I feel fully ready." Let me share a hard-earned piece of wisdom with you. Perfect conditions are a mirage. They do not exist. The only perfect time to start, the only moment you truly have control over, is this one, the present moment. So go out there, now. Take calculated risks. Embrace the fact that you will make mistakes and commit to learning from every single one of them. Stop waiting and start making things happen. There will undoubtedly be times on this journey when you feel utterly exhausted, when your energy is depleted and your spirit feels weak. There will be moments of profound self-doubt where you question your own abilities and your entire path. You might even feel a powerful, seductive urge to simply quit, to lay down the burden and walk away. It is in these precise moments that you must remember a timeless truth. The darkest hour of the night is always, always just before the dawn breaks. The people who ultimately succeed in this world are not necessarily the ones with the highest IQs or the most physical strength. They are simply the ones who possess the most formidable power of all, the power of refusal. They refuse to quit. They refuse to be defined by their failures. They refuse to let the word no be the final answer. This is the core differentiator. So, as you move forward from this moment, as you step back out into the world with all its challenges and opportunities, I want you to carry one central message with you, to hold it close to your heart like a compass. Let it guide you when the path is unclear and sustain you when your strength is fading. That message is this: lasting, meaningful success belongs unconditionally to those who never give up. Dream with audacity, work with unwavering diligence, and never, ever stop believing in the power that resides within you. Thank you.